Testing, testing, testing. Wah, 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 wah.
Find some alternate routes.
I would think it would be,
Yeah, hopefully by that time it should be out. Good.
unless someone is killed, then they usually
Mhm.
close it off to do their maintenance instead.
Yeah. But right now with the ambulances that they had, fire trucks, and I don't know how long, how many vehicles they saw, at least 10 different kinds of vehicles, including ones that looked like they might have been involved. So it was not a simple little bump.
with this whole change of time.
Yeah, that's why everyone forgot. The change of time, that's why everybody forgot their name tags. We can blame it on the time change.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do when our President Donald eliminates the change of time with royal decree?
Yeah.
I did laugh out of it.
I just, that man.
Mhm. Or maybe we can change his time somehow. Let's see how many people can get out and vote, and let's change his time. Huh?
Where there are some places, everything, Indiana, I think only has half time
Yeah.
change.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the time zone is in the middle of the state,
Yeah,
and there's a town that has 2 time zones in the town.
Yeah.
That'd be complicated.
I did a workshop down in Phoenix, and my travel agent up here booked it, and then I got to the airport, and he had adjusted the time. They don't change the time in Arizona, so I missed my flight.
Mhm.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
good morning.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
A whole lot of fun, but a little tiresome at the end.
Yeah, after a while.
And then the last night, sometime, when we left Alaska, the breath seas got up, and I had seasickness for the first time.
You doing well,
Huh?
Are you doing?
Took those later, I was
Okay.
fine, but
Reverend Crystal Landit. I'm the
Good sense.
executor. It's a more of a participatory situation.
her birthday was yesterday, Reverend Christmas, Facebook had it on.
Oh, I haven't done Facebook, I wasn't sure if you wanted to Facebook with members of the congregation.
I think she must have 2. But more and more, the only thing I believe on Facebook are people that I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an awful lot of risk.
Yes.
And then there's some people that I do know that I don't believe on Facebook.
The medical information is what you really need to be suspicious of.
Yes.
Dr. Facebook is not reliable. You can listen or opinion
Well,
there.
I want the AMA to take away Dr. Oz and Dr. Paul's
Yes,
licenses.
well, they can't, it would be the state regulatory agencies that issue licenses.
Okay.
In fact, Dr. Oz has been censured once by, I think, the AMA for making all the false claims against major homes in the network.
So what about the Republicans raising Cain with Fauci and trying to get him to how many people out there? I just gotta see the results. I didn't realize this time already. Okay.
One of all these candidates is so.
Good afternoon. Is this mic on? Can you hear me? Yes? Yes, now I can hear me. Good afternoon. My name... Huh? Nope. My name is Anna Landis-Benz, and I use she, her pronouns, and I am a congregant of Merging Waters Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community that draws on the shared values of mindful interdependence, authentic curiosity, and courageous love. We welcome you who are joining us in person and you who are joining us online. It is so good to be together today in all of the ways that we can. If you are with us in person, where we share space at the United Church of Christ, New Brighton, we are so glad that you are here. We ask that everyone who remembered their name tag wears a name tag in an effort to practice radical hospitality and to build community. There are also some available on the welcome table in the entry area. Per usual, I have a few announcements. We encourage everyone to take care of your body's needs during the service and engage in ways that help you feel connected, including crafting, doodling, fidgeting, etc. There is some stuff on the table that we'll engage with in a bit, but if you need it now, go ahead. We want children, both in age and in spirit, to feel connected and engage in activities in this space. Or you can also go and use the childcare room. There are Legos in there, which are super fun. Our summer program is intentionally multi-generational, and children and youth are welcome in our sanctuary at any time. You are also welcome to make use, I said that. If you have a pastoral care need, please feel free to reach out to Reverend Krista, although she may be delayed in responding this week due to illness. Newcomers are welcome to all of our programming. You need not be a formal member. If you are new to Merging Waters, I'll say this anyways, but I don't think anyone's new. Please sign up for our mailing list. You can do so online. There's also, I think, some cards available on the welcome table. Do check the box that gives us permission to add your email address. If you get our Thursday update and have not already done so, please complete the Action and Justice survey. This survey helps inform the work that the Action and Justice team organizes for the coming year. August 8th, mark your calendars. Bruce and Marie are hosting their annual Big Backyard Picnic and MWUC Coffee House. This event will run from 3 to 8 p.m. and is in-person only. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to help lead worship? Had an idea for worship or just wondering what goes into worship planning? On August 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., come and find some answers to those questions. And Lori has a quick announcement.
I'm organizing a postcard writing party on August 16th after service here at 2:30. It's through an organization called Environmental Voter Project, which is a nonprofit designed to get non-voting environmentalists to the polls. The postcards are going to people in Virginia. Sorry for the late announcement, but I just got notice that we got 200 postcards. So they'll be shipped this week. We have to be together in a group, supervised me, who have been trained online. It's going to be a little different from the last time in that you can't take the postcards home. And they're very prescriptive what the message is. But I think with maybe 1 or 2 meetings, we can get the 200 postcards ready they need to be mailed September 16th, and the primary voting in Virginia is the 18th. Again, designed to get out non-voting environmentalists out into the non-presidential elections. So let me know if you plan to be there, just so I have enough materials.
Can you repeat the date?
September 16th at
The writing will happen first.
August 16th at 2:30.
There are many other events and updates in the Thursday update, so please check that out for more information. Like, there's a lot. Oh, Byron has something.
This is a reminder that Charlie Martin's art show became available yesterday, August 1st, and it will be available to be viewed until September 5th. This Thursday, August 6th, from 6 to 8 p.m., Charlie will be at the Creative Flow Art Center for a reception. This show has 40-odd paintings in it, several of which are new since our last show at Pilgrim House. The Creative Flow Art Center is on East River Road, just a little bit north of Osborne. And I have a flyer just like this one out on the table. So if you think you'll be going to Charlie's show, take a picture of the flyer out on the table.
Thank you. Reverend Krista could not be here today, as she and her family are homesick, but she is with us in spirit in the planning of this service. Bruce, our Director of Music Ministry, is at the piano here on site, and members of the choir will help lead hymns from their places, as they wish, which means sing extra loud. Our volunteer tech team includes Katie and Byron Johnson. Katie Johnson and Janice Sancott create the service slides. Oh yes, and Brian. He snuck in after I had written the names in. A special note on today's service. All of our readings and quotes come from this year's UUA Common Read, Love at the Center, Unitarian Universalist Theologies, edited by Reverend Dr. Sophia Vanincourt. Welcome once again to our service today. We hope that these Sunday services provide a time of sanctuary, reflection, connection, and joy. We will light our chalice in person and encourage those of you online to light one at home. Our chalice lighting words are from the essay Love is a Circle in Time by Reverend Rebecca Ann Parker. I need 2 more hands. Thank you. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. The words for our opening reading are from Reverend Sophia Betancourt. We hold a love greater than we know between and among us, born from all that we hold holy. It takes many of us in community to insist that a better future is possible, to keep faithful to our commitments when we err and falter, and to remind us that we are constantly connected to a hope-filled belief in human goodness and capacity for love, even when we feel furthest from that which is larger than our own knowing. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. We have hymnals out there, and the screen and lyrics will be shared to Zoom for those joining online. People at home will be muted and are welcome to sing along.
Love
to remain seated as we sing There Is a Love. The lyrics will be on the screen. Since the beginning of 2026, we have been singing this song, There Is a Love, almost every Sunday in response to our joys and sorrows. Today, we're going to spend some time reflecting on what it means to each of us to be held in love and what it means for us as Unitarian Universalists collectively. 2 years ago, the Unitarian Universalist Association member congregations referred to as the UUA, voted to change our principles and purposes to a set of values centered around love. Today's service is going to ask you to do some theological reflection using the UUA Common Read for 2026, Love at the Center, as a jumping off point. The UUA has created a rich and varied collection of resources using this collection of essays, and today is only an introduction. The hope is that we will have a chance, not just in worship, but also in our committees and community gatherings, to explore these resources in more depth throughout the coming year. Today, our primary focus will be love holding us. Let's begin our reflection time with an overview from the UUA of the Rings of Love model created by Michelle Collins, followed with some time for individual creative reflection, and then coming back together for a time of large group sharing. Love at the Center invites Unitarian Universalists to take seriously our claim that love is the heart of our faith, not just our favorite word. The Rings of Love, modeled by Reverend Michelle Collins, shown on the screen, is one way to imagine that claim, drawing on the Article 2 values and the stories and theologies in Love at the Center to show how love's call moves through every part of our lives. At its core, the model imagines our relational lives as 4 nested rings on a spiral. The love within me, of inner spiritual life, the love between us, of interpersonal relationships, the love among us, of congregational systems and culture, and love beyond us, of our public presence and justice work in the wider world. All 4 rings exist at once, and are all within the love holding us, that is known by many names and by no name fully known. The spiral image suggests that experience travels inward and outward over time, so that what happens in one ring continually shapes and is shaped by what happens in the others. Running through these rings are 6 shared values from Article 2. Can anyone name all 6? Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, drawn here as wedges that cut across every ring. Where a value wedge meets a ring, it creates an intersection. Justice with love within me, interdependence with love among us, generosity with love beyond us, and so on. Each intersection invites us to ask how that particular value and that particular sphere of relationship illuminate one another, the way justice with love within me holds together inner honesty, self-regard, and commitment to liberation. Taken together, the spiral rings and value wedges offer a map of intersections where love's core commitments show up in distinct but connected ways. The model does not divide love into separate boxes. Instead, it helps us notice the web of relationships in which love is already alive, and to recognize how movements toward justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity reverberate to and from our inner lives, our congregations, and the wider world, with all of it held in a wider love. The Rings of Love model names 5 spheres where love lives in our Unitarian Universalist lives, always at the same time and always in relationship to one another. Each ring is a way of paying attention to love's movement rather than a step on a ladder you climb and leave behind. Love within me is the innermost ring, the sphere of self and spirit. It includes our relationship with ourselves, our inner spiritual life, and our connection with what is larger than we are, the ground of being, mystery, God, or the sacred by any name. Here, love shows up as self-honesty, self-compassion, spiritual practice, questions that will not let us go, and the slow work of aligning our lives with what we most deeply value. Love between us is the ring of interpersonal relationships. It encompasses families of origin and chosen families, close friendships, pastoral and caregiving relationships, neighbors and neighborhood groups, small groups, and ministry teams where people are known by name and by story. In this sphere, love becomes concrete in how we share life, navigate conflict and repair, offer and receive care, and make space for one another's whole selves over time. Love among us is the ring of congregational life as a whole. It includes worship and learning, governance and decision-making, budgets and buildings, formal and informal networks of care, everything that shapes how a UU community organizes its common life. Here, love is visible not only in feelings of warmth, but in policies, structures, and cultures that practice shared power, cultivate generosity with our UU institutions, extend welcome across differences, and hold the community through changes and challenges. Love beyond us is the outer ring, the sphere of the congregation and the wider world. It includes justice, ministries, partnerships, public witness, the ways our buildings and resources serve neighbors, offer reparations, and the everyday impact of members living their values in society. In this sphere, love becomes public and risky, asking whether our commitments to justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity reach beyond our own circle and join the larger work of healing and liberation. Love holding us circles back to where we started. It is the ground of being, great mystery, God, Goddess, spirit of life, the organic intelligence of the cosmos, the sacred by any name, but by no name fully known. We access it through direct experience, diverse spiritual practices, the stories and writings of prophetic people, and the wisdom, teachings, and scriptures of the world's religions, including our own. This larger love can ground and guide us, hold us when we falter and fail, bind us with our ancestors and future generations, reminds us we are not alone, and provide healing and hope. So today, we are inviting us to reflect on this last circle, love holding us, knowing that it may also interact with many of the other circles. We have a number of quotes from the various essays in Love at the Center cut out and placed on the table. They kind of look like this. There's a lot of stuff on the table, but they look like this. We also have a document with all of those quotes that we'll put in the link in the Zoom chat for those joining online. These are intended as a spark to get you reflecting, but you won't have time to read them all. There's like 35, so pick one at whim or after you've read a couple, but don't linger too long. After some individual reflection time, we will invite folks who are interested to share with the larger group. Now, you are invited to come up to the table and take a quote from the table. You may also grab some writing or art-making supplies to help you with your reflection, or simply sit with your own thoughts. We're going to take about 10 minutes, and then we will have some time for a large group sharing. I did not check that any of the pens work.
I can get more if you do.
I can too. So as people settle back down, if you need some questions to help get you started, I'm going to read a couple and I'll read them twice. Where have you experienced our congregation attend to or amplify the love holding us? What shifts in your own experience when you turn your attention and awareness to the love holding us? When you think about a love that holds you, what personal experiences, moments, or images come to mind? I'll read those again, and you do not need to attach to any of them. Where have you experienced our congregation attend to or amplify the love holding us? What shifts in your own experience when you turn your attention and awareness to the love holding us? When you think about a love that holds you, what personal experiences, moments, or images come to mind? We will have about 10 minutes. Pause our reflection for now and enter into a time of large group sharing. We're going to pass the mic around and then invite folks on Zoom to share so everyone has a chance if they would like to share, but it is not required. Which direction?
Hi, I'm Kevin, he, him. It's a powerful image that's been created and will provoke many thoughts for me. But that core of self-love at the center is not the simplest for me. And yet I'm seeing how without that core self-love, all the other elements are harder to weave into. But I was also thinking about how the love of others, or the lack of love of others, can trickle down as well. And so being strong enough to know yourself and have that self-love, no matter what's going on at the other levels, is important.
I saw this grid on my computer, and I kept looking at and thinking, I really like this mentality on this, the approach on this. And like Kevin said, I took a look at thinking in today's society, love for self, respect for self, taking care of yourself. How does that affect everything else going out? And kind of makes me think how much for the people who are having problems in our society, what did they grow up with? And how can we work around that so we can help society? And then, again, like Kevin said, from the outside coming in, like in our politics right now, how that impacts us. We need to take care of ourselves and understand ourselves and understand what love is from all directions. And that's not that easy the way our society is going.
Brian passes. I'll come out here. There we go. So I can be seen a little bit in the camera. I was thinking about this idea of there is a love holding us. I have a the words make me think that it's like an external love, which I have a hard time, I don't know, envisioning in a sense. There's some external source. And yet when we sing, there is a love holding us, it feels like it is an embodiment of at least the congregation being that love that's that is holding me, that's holding us. So anyway, that's my experience.
At first I was going to pass. And then as Katie was talking and I was listening to her, I also had a feeling or a thought that came to me that, you know, the environment, the natural world, I just love. And when I go out into it, or even when I view it from my window, I feel carried by a love returned. And I can't think of a greater love holding me than that.
I don't know if we should be together, Lois. I think of the many layers of nature that are close to us, that are far from us, that were here before we were, not only us individuals, but before the first human ever set foot on the earth. There were so many layers that loved each other and helped each other and cared for each other. And despite what we do to nature, it continues giving.
I was going to say something different than what I thought I was going to. I've grown up always talk about, really, that can be a very negative word. Not thinking well of myself, and I could stay in there forever. I, suffer from depression. But with the help of this community, and I know it's Merging Waters and formerly MSUS, I can get out of it faster. I still experience, because if I try to pretend it's not there, I'm going to have problems, and I know that. But it's so helpful to have this community care and love for me, and love me.
This statement just jumped out at me, so I'm going to use Dan McKennon's words to describe this amazing transformation I've been on over the last 6 years. David is in on this, as are others, where I now understand universal love. And it has really changed this weekly experience. So he wrote, "When I say love is the heart of this church, I mean that I come to church to be reminded that I am part of the love story of the universe." I can just end it there. That's pretty good.
I'm John. Love holding me is the good health I have and the institutions that support that health. Simple things like, which are really not so simple, potable water, solid waste, Medicare, all these first world things that make life comfortable, and by way of that healthy. You don't have to pay much attention to the news to try and figure out how people even get a clean drink of water, much less the health care that I have access to is phenomenal. I saw a urologist, an orthopedic, and a dermatologist in the last month, and their only job for that 15 minutes was to make me better. You know, and that's close to a miracle. And as we seem to devolve into Lord of the Flies, I'm just amazed that there's still a collective society that is trying to do something, and it's important for me to make that connection, and that's why I'm here today, to be among people who see the big picture.
This congregation is very good at expressing love to one another and giving affection and hugs and in more practical ways. And I was a recipient of that on a number of occasions, because when I was recovering from either surgery or an illness, a prolonged illness, or they fed me. And that really helped. And it was so wonderful to eat really good food, not just a can of soup. And I have done the same in return for others. I'm maybe not quite as good at it as some are, but I give in other ways. I express love to this congregation in more direct ways, I think.
I picked up a quote from the Reverend Adam Robersmith. My understanding of religious community is centered in a love that must be shared to exist and grow, is powerful through relatedness, and sustains individuals while drawing them into community. And I see that in this congregation in so many ways, the ways we step up to help people who need it, and also the way we step up to help our larger community. And I'm struck that with the response here in Minnesota to Operation Metro Surge, the thing that came through was this love, this community sense that is such a strong antidote to a regime that thinks of compassion as weakness. If you get a chance, read the article in today's Tribune about the way Eat Street restaurants responded to Metro Surge. You had restaurant owners picking their employees up and driving them to work and back and doing all kinds of things that go far beyond the sort of profit motive that capitalism is unfortunately sometimes all about. And that's an example of love in action. And it's an act of resistance. Even though it may not seem like it, love is an act of resistance.
I picked up this quote because I just saw the words of fungal mycelium and tree roots. And I've just been reading a lot about the interrelationship between this and forests and how they communicate. And a lot of questions come up about do they have rights, and are they intelligent? And but then I read this quote. It's also by the Reverend Adam Robersmith, and I don't know what it means. I'd really like to talk to somebody about it. I'll just read a couple of the sentences. Love is relationship at its best, a way of being that requires relational power, a power that values and respects that which it connects. The profound relatedness of fungal mycelium and tree roots, intestinal flora and animals provides mutual benefit and thriving for each. The presence of apex predators can improve the landscape by limiting how prey consume plants, so more plants slow erosion and therefore more water is retained in the soil. This is nothing if not relational. Okay, I get that it's relational. But is he saying that's love? But it kind of, maybe you guys Lois and Ali might have shed a little bit of light for me on your comments about nature sustaining us. But anyway, I think it's an interesting quote, and I'd like to discuss it more.
Roger, he, him. When we first joined Michael Servetus, sometime in the first or second year, there was an announcement made at church that some of the members, I think because of sickness or death, they had to move and sell their house, and so they said that they wanted to have a party to. There was an extensive list of things to make it ready to go on the market. And a large fraction of Michael Servetus showed up. And they picked all of the stuff and went to work. A place was like a beehive. And after 4 or 5 hours, the list had been completed. It was so impressive. So,
a couple of things come to mind for me. First, core love is the most important. Without it, you can't love someone fully. You can't be true to yourself without it. And you can't take care of who you love to your best of your ability without core love. And with that, to me, I feel that love is free and need, and to be given more and to receive more. I feel like the world needs more love and understanding at this time. Not long here and around the world, people want peace, they want unity, and yet hate rules. Love, morals, values call for change. Love holds strong. Love holds meaning. Needing each other. Peace. A sense of belonging. Not just watching people hold hands. What is realism behind that? What's beliefs? Do they hold sacred in their hearts?
Rob, he, him. My little note here talks about loving the enemy. And I grew up always being angry at my older brothers, and I can remember my mother saying, "You have to love your brothers." And I think the concept of loving your enemy is so clearly in today's world so black and white. I mean, I won't get started on about our prince or king or whatever he thinks he is, but this quote is from Ashley Horan, who I met when she was an intern at Unity. And she talks about that loving the enemy is like avoiding doing what needs to be done. I have a ton of children, and they sure didn't always love each other. And there's this concept that I've met people who just hate whoever the Vikings are playing. Although they really love the sport. And this little quote says, if we love the enemy and don't do any more, then we're with the enemy as they take on other people.
David, he, him. I think many of you know that the last 18 months has been a little tumultuous in my life, between my cancer journey, my dad's death, and our next door neighbor's death. And when I think about what it means to be held in love, kind of in the most expansive way, I see the faces of all of you in this room who have accompanied me on that journey in one way or another. And maybe it started out as individual faces, but at some point, the web is knit so tightly around me that I recognize that it isn't just a bunch of individuals. It's something larger. I also, the last question talked about like personal moments, and I just want to acknowledge that it doesn't just happen here. I'm blessed to be in a marriage where Margaret and I frequently, to our surprise and awe, discover that we are just leaking love all over the place. And that's cool. And also, there's the blessing of family. You know, Katie and I did not know each other as kids growing up. We were cousins, we knew each other, but there were 8 years between us, and so we didn't play together. And the joy of being with Katie and Byron and their family is a moment of being held in love. It is a gift that I could not have asked for, but it is showered on me.
It is a little past 2 o'clock, so if you need to go, please feel free. But otherwise, we're going to go a little long today. Oh, yes. Any online? Katie, do you want to call people? I can't see who's online. So. Janice. Thank you, Kevin.
When I looked at the questions, the third one struck me about what images do you see? What do you think about? And immediately I thought of this congregation helping us move from Roseville to New Brighton in 2006. The bulk of the people that helped us were from MSUS, but we also had friends from where I worked and from some of the associations that Jerry had with the various clock associations that he belonged to. And we had almost 40 people that turned out and moved our whole household in an hour and a half. And later the neighbors told me that it was like a little caravan coming in. A car would come in, put out some stuff, take off, go wherever. And it just was one string, one car, one truck after another. And there was just so much love that I had for our congregation at that time. And I felt the love that was coming from all of our friends. And then I moved on to the idea of celebrations of life. And so many celebrations of life over the years where we actively remember people. And that is just a person, it never really goes away until the last person that remembers them goes away. And as long as we keep telling stories, that person will live on forever. In a more concrete way, I've thought again, like others, of how much our congregation reaches out to people within the congregation that need help with the joys, the issues that we come up with, and everything. We try to we're actively involved. Maybe not every person every time, but we show up. And we do that not only for our congregation, but what they called the Bridge Brigade, which would be the ICE activities going on and actively helping our community. And finally, I thought of listening. Our congregation members listen to one another. And that's probably one of the most important things that we can do, is to actively listen. Thank you.
Would anyone else online like to share? If you do, you can raise your hand or unmute. Going once, going twice. All right. We are again going to sing There Is a Love to sort of sandwich this activity. So choir members, sing loud and proud. People at home, you'll be muted, but sing along. Please rise in body or spirit. Let us now enter into a spirit of generosity. On the first Sunday of each month, it is our tradition to donate all of the undesignated funds in the basket to an organization who is living out our values in the community. This is a representation of how our congregation shows love in the larger world. July and August are joint Share the Plates, so we will continue to contribute to the Family Tree Clinic, an organization in Minneapolis at the forefront of accessible sexual and reproductive health care and education. If you are here in person, please use an envelope and check the box, indicate our monthly partner on your check, or select August special donation from the drop-down menu if donating online. The basket has been passed. We will move on to the next thing. All right. I close our service today with these words by Reverend Connie Goodbread from the essay, Unitarian Universalism, One Holy Love for All. May we know the love that holds and surrounds us. May we know that we are part of that greater love. May we never succumb to divisions meant to isolate us, oppress us, and leave us hopeless. May we always draw the circle ever wider. So let us do our ritual of extinguishing the chalice here and at home together. We will share the words on the screen, so all in reading it. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service is almost over. Remember to check your email and our website to stay engaged with what is happening at church. We will gather again next Sunday at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. That is the new time. Good job all for showing up then. When Reverend Christo will continue to explore spiritual practices as part of our Circle Round for Summer worship program. Today, after our service, we invite you for time of fellowship out in that space. Thank you. If you're interested in a more formal sharing, we will have a Sparklet Circle. I'm not sure who's leading that. As you are greeting each other, please remember to ask each other for consent if you would like to hug someone. We are glad you joined us today. Go in peace. We have a tradition of closing our service. We all know this, so I think we're just going to make a circle. Hold hands if you want, or touch elbows, or whatever you need. The words will be in the chat. For those online, we encourage you to turn your video on. And if you don't know the words or you don't want to sing, let us sing to you.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
How about it? Rob, what are you doing online as well? You're online as well.
He has a magic power of being